Hi and welcome to the first video of a series of videos I plan to make on British slang and colloquialisms. It's my intention that through the use of these videos you'll be able to learn many of the commonly used slang expressions in British English and use them in the correct context and at the right time. Okay, so here's a brief introduction to what these videos are about. The first 2 points I've already mentioned. I want to teach you the most commonly used slang expressions and colloquialisms in British English. I want to teach you to use the expressions at the right time and in the right context. The third point I've put here is it's more than just a translation from an online dictionary. What I mean by this is it's very easy to go online and to translate something, to find an expression. For example, ich hab keinen Bock could be translated as I can't be asked. And just because you know the expression I can't be asked, it doesn't mean you know when to use it and how to use it. You, for example, could quite easily offend someone if you use that in the wrong context. You could mean to sound polite but end up not sounding polite. So what I mean is you need to really practice how and when to use it and see examples. So that's what I intend to achieve with these videos. The fourth point I've put here is the British people and their understanding of language. What I mean by that is the British people are not particularly good at learning languages, and as a result of this they don't actually appreciate that when someone says something and it sounds rude, that they probably didn't mean it to sound rude. You know, it's just the case, this is why I think these videos are so important. It's a case of learning the right context to use these expressions, knowing, okay, this is the situation I can use this in, and this is probably a situation I can't use this in. Okay, so let's move on. Why learn slang and colloquialisms? Slang and colloquialisms play a very large role in the everyday English language, in everyday British language, everyday British English. I think it's important because having a knowledge of slang and colloquialisms allows you to avoid misunderstandings, and it allows you to cope 10 times better in social situations. For example, if you go with some colleagues or English friends of yours into a pub, it's highly likely that a lot of slang and a lot of colloquialisms will be used. And so if you have some in your head, if you have a good foundation of slang and colloquialisms in your head, you're far more likely to be able to understand them and to be able to interact with them. Of course, if you can use these expressions very well, you can impress friends, you can impress teachers, and you can impress employers. The expression slang doesn't have to, it sounds slightly negative, but what I really mean by it is, you know, words and expressions which may not be found in your class textbook. That's what I mean by it. Colloquialisms, expressions in the language that develop with time and, you know, change all the time, and those sorts of things. Last point, avoid offending people and embarrassing yourself. I think everyone who's learned a foreign language can relate to that. There are times when you maybe learn something in a textbook that sounds really old-fashioned, you use it and you sound ridiculous and you offend someone somehow, sometimes. It can happen, and I hope to eliminate that. So, I think that was enough in terms of introduction, and now we'll just move on to 5 expressions for the first video, and in the future videos, the next videos that are coming up, we'll add to those and grad bit by bit. Hope to build up a really solid base of slang and colloquialisms in British English for all of you. Okay, so let's get started. The first expression I want to discuss is the expression to be asked to do something. That's literally translated, ich hab keinen Bock oder ich hab keine Lust dazu, etwas zu tun. It's not having the energy or the desire to do something. So you'd say to be asked to do something. It is a very informal expression. It's something you will only use with friends. It's something you'll predominantly use with young people. So write down now, pen and paper. It is not to be used with your employer, maybe with your work colleagues, unless you're familiar with them, in which case they'll probably use it before you. So here, just a few examples here. I've written at the bottom, I can't be asked to go shopping today because I went to bed so late last night. He can't be asked to prepare for his exams because he is lazy. And the third one, I just can't be asked today with anything. So the expression to be asked to do something, to not be asked to do something, it basically just means you don't have the energy, you don't have the desire to do something. Now let's move on to the next. So the expression to be banged up. To be banged up simply means to be put in prison, which in German can roughly translate as im Knast sein oder weggesperrt sein. I've written a few examples at the bottom there. Number one, you won't see him around because he was banged up last week after breaking into the house. Number two, have you heard from John? No, I think he's going to be banged up next week. Oh, and I've missed a B between two. Just ignore that, please. Number three, if he hadn't left so quickly, he would have been caught and banged up. So, explain one more time. Banged up, simply to be put in prison. We'll move on to the next. A very common one. Booze, two booze, and a piss up. The meaning of booze is simply alcohol. It's a very common expression. It's commonly used in England. You'd say, I'm going to buy booze, or has anyone got any booze? It just means, do you have any alcohol? And a piss up is a besäufnis, which I can't really explain. I mean, the translation should explain that for you. Just a piss up. A piss up is a piss up. Examples here at the bottom. I'm going to the shops to buy some booze for our big piss up tonight. Number two, after the exams, we're going to have a massive piss up. Number three, he always has booze on his mind, that boy. So, it can be used, booze obviously is the noun, to booze is the verb, and a piss up is the noun, which just means besäufnis. Let's move on to the next. Bloke, very, very simple. Just means guy. It's man or guy. The reason I put this on, it's a pretty simple one. It's just that quite a few German people have asked me, I've heard you on the phone saying bloke, what does bloke mean? And I realised that actually there's quite a lot of foreigners who don't know what it means. So it actually just means man or guy. A few examples I've put there. I've heard from others that he is a nice bloke. There is a new bloke at work from the US. And number three, the club was just full of blokes. So, self-explanatory. I don't need to go any further with that one. Let's move on. This is a nice one. To bollock someone, or to give someone a bollocking. It's a very nice expression. I do use this one myself a fair bit. It means to tell someone off. Jemanden zur Sau machen. Some examples. Number one, I can't believe she did that. I'm going to give her such a bollocking tonight. Number two, he is going to be or get bollocked by his boss for not meeting the sales targets. Number three, it's not fair to bollock him, to give him a bollocking tonight. Give him one more chance. So to bollock someone really means to get very angry at someone, to tell someone off, to have a go at someone. These are all expressions that have the same meaning. This expression is quite strong. Don't use it in the office. Yeah. As a rule, use this with younger people again, with friends, or if you're out with someone and you hear them using it, then you know that the situation is okay to use it. But young people with friends, people you know very well, don't go into an office in front of your employer and say, "Oh, you're not going to bollock me, are you?" Because then you'll sound like, a bit of an idiot, and you'll probably get bollocked for doing that. So that was the first lesson. It was quite a short one. I know we only covered 5 expressions, but I just wanted to create an introduction. The introduction dragged on a bit. Sorry about that. I'm still getting into the whole process of making videos, learning it, trying not to speak for too long, and I hope you at least learned something from it. And I look forward to making the next set of videos. Take care and speak to you next time.